Kylian Mbappe, we're told a mystery Premier League club interested. Who can afford him, though? Mbappe, the latest developments, prepared to sit out an entire season, we hear, and leave Paris Saint-Germain on a free next summer, with the club putting him up for sale officially yesterday, going public with that. The way he's acting, with Mbappe, he's the mate that you went to school with. And when you all arrange to meet up and have those kind of yearly or, every few years you try and have a big catch-up with your schoolmates if you can't get together. He's the guy you don't invite, right?
Probably. The thing is with Kylian Mbappe, he's one of, if not the best player in the world. So people won't want to hear... But
the baggage.
But people won't want to hear what I'm going to say, that he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to see out his contract, by all accounts, there's a £68 million loyalty bonus if he stays at PSG, whether he plays or not. If he wants to do that, the supporters, the club, it's going to be terrible for them. But he can do what he wants. If he wasn't a good football player, you get treated like a piece of meat. So basically, they can do what they want with him. They'd have no doubts. They'd have no worries and concerns of just getting rid of him if he wasn't as good as he is. They want to earn some money back, so you're having this back and forth in terms of the situation with Mbappe. But he can do whatever he wants. If he wants to leave next year on a free, he can do that. And we were speaking off air as well, and I've said this before. It's financially motivated, and a lot of it, finances come into play. And it's the money being banished around now with the cost of living crisis. It's awful, but this is the money that is in football. Everyone knows this. They're so secure, football players nowadays. They don't need to play anymore.
And you think that is a major issue, and that is the kind of defining factor in why footballers act as poorly as Kylian Mbappe, in my opinion, is acting right now at Paris Saint-Germain.
I think so, because like you said, I'll happily sit there and not play a game this season and then leave on a free.
But that wasn't even the case when you were playing, right? No,
I mean, when I played, you'd come towards the end. The money wasn't as big as it is now. Of course it wasn't. And it was less than previous eras to even myself. But you come towards the end of the seasons, the end of your contracts, and you'll be really trying because you'll be constantly thinking about this. I need to secure myself a contract. I need to get this for my family. They don't need to anymore. You can sign one contract now in the Premier League, a 5-year deal. Average Premier League salary is what, £50,000-60,000 a week at least. That's for a bog standard Premier League player. You're getting £65,000 a week.
Players, right?
Just average Premier League players.
Squad players.
Look, no player's average in my opinion.
There's some hugely average Premier League players
compared
that are
to the players
on 50, 60, 70 grand a week.
But I always think they're average compared to the players in the Premier League. But compared to normal football players, they're top players. £60,000 a week, the average salary of a Premier League player. So you can sign one contract, 5-year deal at a football club. You never have to work again.
And you don't think you have too much baggage, too much.
I think the issue then arises
around you.
The issue then arises is because he's on and he's got so much money, he can do what he wants. He can act the way he wants. And with PSG in particular, they gave him so much power in the previous contract that he was given. He feels he's untouchable. Now, he should be paying them back to a certain degree and allowing the club to get a little bit of money back, but he can do what he wants.
It's got silly, hasn't it? All of this. And they have been giving him all he's wanted for the last 18 months. And now's the time. Stick him to one side.
Yep. It's from outside looking in, which we are looking into this situation. It's like a soap opera. It's like every day you're thinking, what else is going to happen here? To come out and say, I don't care even about playing, I'm going to leave at the end. The mad thing is, and people might laugh at the radios, I can see Saudi Arabia putting a ridiculous offer to him.
What a waste
and him
that
considering
would be, it. Because he's the world's best talent now, isn't he?
Yes.
With Ronaldo and Messi at the points they are in their careers.
He is the next batch.
And he leads that next batch, doesn't he?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
What a waste, the idea that he could end up there, because that's the only place, one of those clubs in Saudi Arabia are the only ones that can afford him.
Yes, and in terms of waste, for the next couple of years, it would be a waste, of course. Excuse me. But he has to go there for 2 years by all accounts. I'm led to believe you've got to be there 2 years to get your money tax-free. He doesn't have to. He's going to be on... He'd be on a ridiculous amounts of money. He could leave after a year. He's only 24. Comes back after 2 years, picking up billion pounds out there and goes to play for a top European club, he could take a massive pay cut because he don't need the money. I know he doesn't now, but I can see Saudi putting something to him that gets him interested if he is money motivated, which by the sounds of it he is. I know he wants to go to Real Madrid, I know that, but by the sounds of it he is. We could see this happen.
I would love to know the fans listening into talkSPORT how they would feel if their best player even began to act like Kylian Mbappe is right now.
I just think clubs are quick to offload players when they're not putting it in. So they can't have it both ways. Okay, I agree. He's showing a lack of respect. He should be showing them more. He's getting advised wrong, in my opinion. But again, I go back to finance. He's got enough money to do this. It doesn't bother him at all. And you're quick to offload players when they're not putting it in or not doing enough. He wants to have the best situation for himself. And unfortunately, in the modern game of football, he can do what he wants.
He don't care about the collateral, does he? 03717 223344. Nathan's an Arsenal fan, called into talkSPORT, wants to have his say on Mbappe's future. Nathan, evening.
Evening, guys. How
you doing? Very well. What do you think on Kylian Mbappe?
So for me, I think he's well within his rights to basically stand firm and see out his contract, because the fact of the matter is that when the contract was signed, it was for a period of time. He isn't obliged to have to stay there. And if they're really if it means getting a massive payout or a signing on bonus of like 100 million plus in 12 months' time, PSG throwing their toys out the pram and saying, we're not going to play you. Well, either way, he ends up at the club he wants to go to with the massive pay packet that he wants anyway. The thing I was going to say, though, is the fact that the whole Saudi situation about him going to Saudi, I don't actually think that could happen for him unless he doesn't ever intend to come back to Europe again, because I might be wrong, and someone can correct me and look this up, but I'm pretty sure the reason why Messi couldn't re-sign for Barcelona was because they couldn't afford him because his wages could only be reduced by 50%. So if he were to get a wild salary out in Saudi Arabia, it then makes it really, really hard for him to come back to Europe, which makes me think even more that if he needs to, will sit on the bench and sign for Real Madrid in 12 months' time, no matter what happens.
You'd be okay, Nathan, if Saka or Jesus acted like Mbappe is right now to get their way, to get their own way, to force something. If one of your stars wanted off, even though they had a year left on their contract.
I have no issue with it at all.
You got no issue, even though if it was one of your players?
Because we all know how business works, is that football clubs make significantly more money than they pay players, and they bring in players to try and make as much money as they can. And if a contract is agreed for a period of time, and at the end of that they go, well, I don't want to stay here, well, that was the agreement we had in the first place. We can't make you sign. We can't make you stay. Things change. People's lives develop. And if they want to move on, that was the agreement we had in the first place. So I don't think you can be upset about that.
Nathan, good call. Appreciate it. 03717 223344. A couple. It's either Arsenal or City. Would he go to Arsenal? Mbappe loves Henry. Is there a Premier League link? Wayne, the West Ham fan, saying he's going to West Ham, lads. I've got the inside line
Tottenham.
on it. Let's
Tottenham.
talk with Andrew, Spurs fan. Would you take Kylian Mbappe? Bit of baggage there, Andrew, though.
I'll tell you what, listen, get Kane away. Get Kane off to Bayern Munich, and then we'll take him. No
Agreed.
problem.
Okay, there you go. You got it worked out, haven't you, Andrew?
Just about. But you know what? I just wanted to say, I'm confused. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't understand why he's got to sit on the bench for a year. If you're Enrique and you've got arguably the best player of his age in the world,
mm-hmm.
I get they've got issues with contract negotiations and whatnot, but contract to contract, why has he got to sit on the bench?
I think at the moment, Andrew, I think he's cat and mouse, basically. I think they're saying he wants to leave. They're saying no, and he's saying, well, what will I have to do to make you let me leave? And there's nothing. And if you're not careful, I'll put you on the bench. And he says, well, I'll sit on the bench. It's just... It's all like words. It's words of war at the moment from each other. And I agree with you. If he stays at PSG, I think they'll come to an agreement and he will play. You can't have a player like Mbappe sitting on the bench for a season.
Whether you're at I don't think they can even, in a strange way, afford for him to sit on the bench.
Yeah, they can't afford him to sit on the bench.
That's what I mean. And it's the same with Kane. As a Spurs fan, I know Kane wants to leave, and fair play, he's been a great servant for us. we've not got him silverware, but fair enough. If he stays, he's going to stay amicably as a captain. I feel like the way PSG, I think it says more about the ownership of PSG and this money kind of, you know, this new generation of, you know, big bucks, money madness, really. Okay, right, fair enough. If he wants to go to Real Madrid, one of the best club sides on the planet, and he deserves it because he's, like I say, he's the top goal scorer at PSG. He's got a World Cup. He's got World Cup final goals. He's got, you know, he's got silverware. So I just think we're vilifying him a little bit for saying that I'm probably not going to stick around lads from the last season. I'm a bit at loss why they've left him out of the squad going into the pre-season tour. Because at the end of the day, then I don't think you'd have to be mad if you're going to leave on the bench for 9 months.
Do you want Kylian Mbappe, Jerry?
Absolutely not.
To be fair, like I said, I want people to ring up and tell me this. I think City the only team that can probably get away with that. But I still think you'd take him. I still think you'd want him. The best player in the world, Jerry.
In history of Pep's era at Man City, we've never signed bad eggs. We've never signed players that have the potential to cause upset in the dressing room. And then you look as well, the players that have, the Cancelos and stuff, they're out the door straight away.
Yeah.
So I don't think we have any reason to sign a player that has that sort of potential to cause uproar. I don't think I could ever see it happening, to be honest.
What about you personally, though, Jerry? Sorry, Dan. No. You personally, would you not want to see a player like Mbappe?
Are you asking me that if I would like to see Haaland and Mbappe play together? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That is exactly the question that Darren Ambrose asked.
I think everyone in the world would like to see that. But to be honest, for the greater good of our club and for the success that we've already had without that sort of player, I really don't think we need him, to be honest.
That's what I mean. Man City, the only team. They just won the treble. They're the only team. And I knew that was going to happen. When I put that question out there, I knew a City fan would ring up. And Jerry, thanks for the call. You obviously made a good point there. But I still feel, imagine that, Mbappe and Haaland playing together. Whew.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.